Hey, welcome to Log Time Podcast. This week we're talking about the beginning of the spring 2018 season. Some good shows and some others that were pretty meh. A quick heads up, I want to apologize that I was absent for the last third of this podcast. My roommate had a bit of a medical emergency and I couldn't finish the podcast, but everything's good now, and I promise to be here for the rest of these casts as best I can. Anyways, I hope you enjoy as we dive into some fun shows this season, from piloting dragons with fighter jet controls to betting on girls who are derby horses, because it's anime. Let's go!
Look at these fucking nerds.
Can I point out, by the way, a little bit on topic, that 3D Kanojo, I had never seen the actual manga art for. I love the manga art. It's so nice.
I mean, okay, so I haven't seen it either.
I just pulled up AniChart to take a look at some of the stats for the show, and they have all the characters in the actual like manga art from the manga, and I'm like, oh man, that looks so really good. I like it.
Oh yeah, that is really good. I heard the manga is actually pretty good.
I mean the show's good, so I can only imagine.
So that's what I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
Because I know before we actually started getting into this all, and we were going through the sort of like semi-selection process, I know that you were a little hesitant about it. So I was kind of wondering, with an update, having seen it now, what are your thoughts?
This is the way it is for like everything in my life, though, is that like I haven't seen it or I haven't done it. Like as a kid, my mom would be like, why don't you go to summer camp? And I'm like, I don't wanna. And then I go and I have a fucking blast. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing here. It's I actually sat down and watched it, and I didn't have any like expectation for it going in. I just for some reason was like, I don't know if I want to write about that. And then I watched it, I was like, I could write about this. It's a good show. I like that it is very solidly submitting itself as atypical in its romance, and I enjoy that immensely. Mm. That being said, I'm not a big fan of the main character. Like, I love the girl. I can't remember her name. Igarashi Aroha. I don't know what they call her in the show. But I love her and her personality and the way that she actually presents herself. Love it. But, like, the main character, I'm not entirely sold on because he tends to just go through every single motion I would expect him to go through. As far as... And I guess that's kind of the point, is that, like, over time he's supposed to, like, become a different person or mature a little bit. But, like...
Sure.
Yeah, but, like, right now I'm just like, I don't like you.
Yeah, and that's understandable. Like,
yeah, I mean
there's
like,
only so much character arc that you could have in the first 3 or so episodes of the show.
And I think...
Especially when it is paced in this particular way. But it makes sense.
I think it's kind of like ReZero, in that, like, there is a particular section of that show where I fucking hated the main character, but it's understandable, you're supposed to hate them. And then they mature and become a better person. In this case, I think to a lesser extent, I think it's he strikes me as the I'm so high and mighty that I like lived through in middle school, and I fucking cringe thinking about now. It was just like, girls are grody, I hate you, I'm so much better than you. And then, you know, he actually matures and grows the fuck up and realizes that he was totally wrong. And I feel like that's kind of what they're shooting for right now. So it's like, looking at it, it's like looking at a mirror of my middle school self, and I'm ashamed.
Oh, well, okay. That's not the turn I was expecting that to take, but cool, that's fine. That makes sense.
but the show itself, love all the characters so far, and I love the way that the story's going.
Yeah. Because, Matt, I know that you were pushing very, very hard for the show very early on.
Yeah. That's pretty much because of the reason we already stated. The romance is pretty atypical. Like, like, the first episode itself was like a boatload of things that you just don't ever see happen in anything, really.
I mean, like, how many times do you see... school romance sort of thing where the protagonists actually are dating by the end of the first episode? Doesn't happen.
The only time that
there's
I can
a lot
think
of shows
that
where that
is,
doesn't happen by the end of the series.
Yeah, the only time that I can think of that is like Oremonogatari got close because it was episode 3, and then My Little Monster, they technically were together at the end of episode 1, but it was a weird sort of. It's not like this
a question mark.
Yeah,
there was a sense of ambiguity to it.
Right. Whereas this show is just like, okay, we're dating. Oh, by the way, I'm gone in like 6 months.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a nice little twist too.
I liked that. I thought that was very interesting as well, and I think it, for me, it's a much more interesting romance story, and that it's dating for the sake of dating. It's not dating for this like as an extension of like the old traditional chivalrous idea of like, you know, you are betrothed to each other, and then eventually they will live happily ever after and be married and such and such. It's dating for the sake of dating. You're young. Try and experience it.
Right, of course. And I think it's particularly interesting with our male lead, Tsutsui, who is very much not the sort of character you would expect to view dating and relationships and romance in that particular fashion. Yeah. And so it's interesting to see them take this very traditional archetype of this, it's heading to hikikomori status kind of nerdling in middle school, kind of advancing more towards a direction of honestly like genuinely interesting romantic maturity.
Yeah.
Or I could at least see it going in that direction. I could also see him like going up in flames potentially, but
absolutely. I mean, he's already fucked up pretty hard by calling his girlfriend a bitch and thinking that she sleeps around. So like he's already reached a pretty low point and then just had to completely draw it back and be like, I'm so sorry.
But
yeah, it's kind of funny how she just deflects most of it.
She is a fucking saint. Like, the amount of times that he does something that's really dickish and she's like, whatever, just gonna blow that off. And I'm like, good gosh, woman, like, you are amazing.
Oh yeah, like she deserves so much better.
She does.
And he's a dick, and I'm genuinely interested to see what happens when we get more into the backstory for Igarashi.
Yeah.
See what kind of makes her tick in that particular fashion.
Yeah. I only seen the first episode, but I had a lot of questions.
Matt. You've only seen the first.
Okay. Oh my god, we already went over this.
Kyle, it is a busy time.
It is funny though because
I hyped the shows up so much and I didn't watch the second or third episode.
Yeah, and then I ended up watching more than you. So.
I really wanted to watch more.
Yeah, totally fair.
I'm super hyped. I just had a bunch of other stuff I had to watch too, and I was like, oh god, I'll never make it. And I did, but we'll get to that.
Yep.
I think maybe my initial one of my initial things that like the reason I didn't want to like stick to writing about the show for so long is because like just because turned out to be wonderful because there's a lot of positivity in it. But I think initially that this show was going to be like super drama heavy. And it tends to balance itself really well between drama and more humorous notes, and as well as just some like general everyday life, slice of life kind of stuff. So I think that's why I feel a lot more comfortable with it now. I wasn't quite in the right mindset to just do like fucking drama heavy. My father's dead and all this other stuff, and I was glad. God. I didn't know anything about this show going in.
Okay,
I didn't know anything about this show going in. Really knew nothing. So I was glad to I was glad to see that not only is this show like very positive in a lot of moments, it has moments that are a bit more dramatic, but it's not only is it very much positive, it's also atypical and interesting unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how when the show first came out, it was really highly debated. It was, you had two groups of people. You had the people that loved it, you had the people that just absolutely hated it. And
welcome
one of the
most...
welcome to 2018. And pretty much the only reason I could find why people hated it was they're like, oh, it's Hood's Entertainment. The people that did that, whatever the weird naming anime was of last season, the Mahou, the one that's kind of got the weird A in it. That's the only way I can describe it.
What?
I'll have to look it up. Hold on. Bear with me.
Marching Maiden?
Something like that. Marchin Madchen or something.
Madchen?
Oh yeah, Madchen.
Yeah, the one that didn't actually
with the
ever
over the A's.
Yeah. That's what they're called, huh?
The one that was in production team hell.
Yeah, and
that was right.
That was mostly due to Hood's Entertainment. So I think a lot of the hate stemmed from that, which I think is dumb, but whatever. To each their own, I guess.
I mean, but I guess we've been over this before, that like a company does not make like the same. There's not the same people on every single project if they're from the same company. Yeah. So if that feels a little unfair.
Yeah, I think people were just chalking it up to like, oh, 3D Girl doesn't have any, animation or something. I heard that as a complaint from somebody.
Doesn't have any anime. I don't know what that means.
I think they meant that there wasn't many animated frames. It was a lot of still shots and a lot of just camera work and not like, Sakuga levels of animation, I guess is what they meant.
It's a slice of life. What do you want?
It's a slice of life shoujo. I don't know what they want. Yeah. I mean,
Plus,
most shoujo slice of lives are like that.
Plus, just like we've said about Violet Evergarden, and also Just Because, you can do a lot with just camera work and animation.
That's true.
Sorry, camera work and just telling faces with no dialogue. Like you can do a lot. So.
I'm also going, and this is probably gonna make a lot of people mad later on in the show. Not you guys, but probably people in general. Oh, wow. When we talk about Sakuga in shows, I do have a particular show I want to talk about that kind of frustrates me. So,
boy,
we'll get to that. But,
hey, do you just want to get to that?
Yeah, I don't know if we can really say much more about 3D Girl. It's 3D.
It's good. Everyone needs to watch it.
It's good. I definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it's a very interesting one if you want to see a romance done in a different way.
Yeah.
It's a refreshing twist that I have not seen in a couple seasons.
Yeah.
So far.
I would consider it shoujo adjacent.
Oh, certainly. Yes.
So yeah. Very good. Kind of not even really up my alley, but very good. So I guess to get to the comment that I was getting to, I want to talk about comic girls for a minute.
Oh man, me too. I've got words for this show.
Oh, good. All right, cool. We got some words.
How far have you guys watched?
I've only watched one episode, and I'm done.
Was it the...
Yep.
Yeah, we all watched the same episode together. That's right.
We did the group watch that one night, and I was just so not into it for so many reasons.
Yeah, for it was like... Up until I think about like, what was it, like the 13 or 14 minute mark, I was like, it could be okay. I wasn't really blown away by it, and I really wasn't horribly interested in it. But then it spent like 6 fucking minutes just talking about underage porn, and I'm like, can we not? If possible, can we just move on?
My breaking point was before that, but okay.
I like, as you guys know, I like my comfy shows, even if they have fuck all to them.
Oh yeah.
So I was like,
I mean, you like Lucky Star.
Oh.
Wait, what was that? Was that a comment about Lucky Star there?
That was a low blow.
What?
I don't know
what did you say?
About,
I didn't hear you.
Don't worry about it.
No, I want to know now.
It's not the show we're talking about.
Oh my god, I have to go back.
Anyway,
but
but Kyle, I'm very much in the same camp as you with that. In that, like, I wasn't really, terribly stunned by comic girls. Like, it was like, okay, well, I could see how folks would be into this. It has the trappings of comfy, cute girls and cute girls.
It has every trope.
Trappings makes it sound dangerous.
Well, honestly, but yeah.
It is.
Like, it plays into every trope that you would expect out of this show.
Yeah.
And so people who enjoy their comfy show that, like, they can just turn their brain off and watch cute girls do whatever things, like, every single trope is on display. Go have fun.
I mean, like, it is your shy, untested main girl. There's the bubbly girl that loves sweets or whatever, however that is affected in your general show.
Tomboyish girl who's very dependable.
You have the somewhat more mature, older girl, and they all come together in a weird, zany family unit kind of thing.
Yeah.
You sounded so disinterested when you said that.
You sounded like you were falling asleep as you were saying that.
Because I do. It's so... man, like, I haven't had a show like this that I've liked in a very long time.
Besides Eurocamp. Although, to be fair, none of the characters in Eurocamp were, like, overly typical. I mean, the main character, sure, and like Rin to an extent, I guess. I've seen that type of archetype before, but like,
well, to be honest, what's up?
I was just gonna say, without staying on the topic too long, that I think Eurocamp's strength was that it focused more on the camping than anything else, and so I think that was a large strength of the show.
Yeah, the camping and the relationship between the characters.
We're not going to talk about Eurocamp a fucking season after today. But yes, you're very correct. They were very atypical for the archetypes that they did sort of adjacently inhabit.
Yeah,
but
they did a little bit
distancing
more
itself
with it.
from that.
Yeah.
But anyway, No Comic Girls leans full into that and says yes and I just
yes and porn. And talking about breasts for 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not into that, and especially not when, a show that is, again, about underage girls decides to go for a haha funny hook about, like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if they groped her or some shit. Like, no, stop. No.
Not
this
okay.
has been a thing for years. It has never been okay. It's still not okay.
Not to mention...
stop trying to normalize it. Can we not, please?
Not to mention, on top of that, there's this issue of, because they have this very moe art style, that the girls they are in high school, but they're very infantile in the way that they look. And it just does not make things any better. It makes things much worse.
Yeah. Now, so this all... not our speed. Matt, I'm real curious. What was your breaking point very early on?
My breaking point was when I realized that this is a typical 4-coma comedy, and I was done in about 3 minutes in.
Oh yeah, you're not a big fan of 4-comas.
And you know what? It's kind of one of these shows that
generally speaking, I'm not either.
What?
I'm not into like 4-coma stuff either, unless it's like Nichijou. Anyway.
It has to be pretty unique for me to get into it. I guess besides that, though, there's a couple of things. It's kind of like I pinpointed this show before it even started, because I kind of like have this joke bingo board going where I call these shows before things happen. I knew there was going to be that one Sakuga show that everyone was going to be into that I was just going to hate, and this is it right here, because apparently this show has phenomenal animation that literally nobody will stop talking about. And I'm just slightly annoyed because I don't really like this show, but now I feel like I'm missing on half of the season's conversation because it seems like there's fucking nothing airing, and it's just everyone's talking about this every time it airs, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't like it.
Right, and that's the thing. It's just, I guess it bothers me in that so much of the conversation is steered towards a show that has very little substance, but is pretty, and it kind of feels really frivolous and completely just... Why would you bother to engage in that kind of specific dialogue if you're essentially retreading the same conversation just with like a different subject matter there? Well, just a different piece. And I'm not saying that there is nothing to be had
I
from
don't
those
think
kinds
it's
of
invalid,
discussions.
but
this particular show is not like, why would you mind this particular one? I'm sure it's pretty, but I'm sure there's a lot of other very pretty, well animated shows.
Megalo Box, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit.
Oh my god!
Hold on.
Yes.
Before we jump topics, as much as we don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
I just think that other shows like Megalo Box should get a little more attention, which I've actually heard very little discussion about. Besides, it's good, go watch it. That's what I've heard from everybody. And it's like this show is just plastered like everywhere, and I'm like, why are we not talking about other shows that have similar cool things about them? Like, why is it this one?
Like, because it's easy to talk about cute girls doing cute things.
Yeah.
But why is that?
Because that's just how the climate of a lot of the viewer bases these days.
Well, and to be fair, I think it's also like there are people that are very much into Sakuga or just really good animation, and they feel like that is something that is weighted higher as because anime is supposed to be animated. And so like I can understand why they would stick to a show that like is impressive in that way. That being said, if there's no other substance to the show, like mention it, call it out, think it's really cool, move on, because there's nothing else to this show. There really isn't. It's like I absolutely think that you can celebrate good animation in a shitty show,
right?
But after a certain point, and I don't know how long the discussion's going on, although I guess we're kind of like already
it's week 4.
Yeah, but like it's a situation in which like I absolutely will give the people that love Sakuga like credit that you can, even if the show's not great, you can absolutely herald the animation is very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But this ain't no show to latch on to. Like, you can say it's good. Hey, if you're interested, here's some good animation. But understand, everything else is bad. Like, and I don't think that that's just like I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't think that that's just a personal opinion kind of thing. Like, when you look at the show, it's just there's a lot that's not there that's interesting. So
I wouldn't call it bad. I just call it uninteresting.
But that's the thing. I don't think
it is like retreading this sort of ground that this genre just does every single time. It is not trying to cover any new ground. It is not reformulating any way that it approaches these generic archetypes of these characters. It's not doing anything that a plot hasn't done. It is essentially just taking, okay, what is a twist that we can do on a sort of, cute girls doing cute things sort of formula? How can we push this out? How can we get merch out? Whatever.
I think
it's not innovating in any way.
I think,
and sure, it is pretty. I'm sure it has a lot going for it there. But you're right in that it just seems kind of frivolous to push this kind of deep conversation on something that is only going because of its animation, where we do have things like Megalo Box, or we have things like Hisone to Maso-tan that could have some genuinely interesting conversation, that are well animated, that have a lot of character plot and drive going for it.
Plus, it just seems we have Boku no Hero Academia season 3 in this season. Like, you want to talk about great animation? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. Oh, I did hear one comment about what's that? The person that directed Keikai Sensen. She did an episode on Hero Academia. Sorry, don't know names. This is where I'm gonna. This is the segment where I get slayed by the Sakuga people. But
it's okay, Matt. I'll always love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Yeah. So Comic Girls, no. That's my response to that.
I think I think it's unfair for me to call it bad. I think you are right, but at the same time, it's one of those things. It leans so far into the tropes that it starts getting into the fucking like, tee-hee, isn't it naughty that these underage girls are talking about porn and like thinking about doing porn of the underage girls, and I'm like, yeah, that's a trope we don't need to go back to.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't care for any of that.
It is Anno Domini 2018. We don't need that in this parlance or this field of discussion or this field at all, really.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. Next segment.
Moving on. You know what is a real cute show with cute girls in it that is actually good?
What show?
Hinamatsuri.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not how I would have billed that show.
Yeah.
But all right.
I mean, it's not the genre, not necessarily. No, it's very much a comedy.
I don't know if I feel comfortable calling those girls cute, but okay.
It's just a kid. The kid's cute and can like fucking destroy planets. It's adorable. No, I very much love Hinamatsuri though.
Yeah, when I was looking over the offerings for this season, and I kind of just glanced over it, the descriptor made it sound about the most generic, uninteresting thing possible.
Yep.
Like, so blurb here. The comedy manga centers around a superpower girl named Hina Anita, a young member of the Yakuza. Hina suddenly appears in Anita's room and threatens him with her extraordinary powers. However, they end up living together. Yep. Cool, great. It sounds fascinating.
It's amazing. I've not seen this before.
I wasn't expecting to go into the show and actually see something in just like the first episode where it actually does a very competent job of fostering a great sense of like found family and such in such an odd thing. And God, the writing is so good. Whoever did the script
comedic
for this
timing.
thing,
I was going to bring that up.
God.
The comedy in this, and specifically, Matt, like you said, the comedic timing for everything is fucking on point. It is so good.
It has no right to be as good as it is.
No,
it's because when we were doing that group watch, it was so consistently well timed. Each joke like landed, and it's hard for me to say that about a show like for its actual comedy to work pretty much every time. There's always one that just completely sinks, or I'm just like, oh, all right, cool. But no, man, no, this one was good. This one about killed me, and I'm real into it.
Like, even within the first episode, the fact that you have this, like, big Yakuza dude and this fucking egg with a face shows up in his living room, and he's like, well, just gonna leave that there, and then does.
Just gonna pretend I didn't see that.
For, like, 24 fucking hours.
It just comes back, it's like, it's still there.
Yeah, shit, it's still there. And then it's like, hey, kid, open me up. And he's like, no.
Oni-chan, press my button. Like,
yeah.
Oh gosh.
No.
What a bizarre show. But
and then later on they have a joke. What's the dish that she likes that's the eggs? Is it the fish eggs?
It's the salmon roe.
Yeah, the salmon roe.
Yeah.
I don't know the specific term for it.
There's a joke later on in which like there's the Yakuza members knows that there's somebody searching for them, and then all of a sudden that person finds them. And he's like, and she's gonna run away quickly, and she's like, what? Why would I do that? And he goes, I'll make you salmon roe. And immediately, like before he even gets done finishing the sentence, she goes, I will run away quickly.
Goodbye, JoJo.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
The comedic timing is great, and I think it's nice to have these characters that like are a little different. And that, like, it's not out of the ordinary for there to be a Yakuza member and for the Yakuza member to show a softer side. But it's also nice that he's not, like, he doesn't, like, flip on a dime and just suddenly become super loving. He isn't abusive. He's just this middle of the road where he's this older guy that's never had kids and he doesn't know how to take care of kids. So he's like, I don't know, man, just, like, stay here. I gotta go to work.
and see, that's a fascinating thing to me because in a lot of ways I'm sort of viewing this through the lens of something akin to, say, like Barakamon or Usagi Drop or something. More so along the lines of Usagi Drop, where you know, at least in Usagi Drop, it was like an established, like, you know, adoptive father relationship sort of thing. And so in this one, it's fascinating to me that it is taking this, you know, kind of idea of this very hardened character and kind of putting him in this situation of newfound fatherhood, but also with a kid that could, you know, nuke a building or something with her brain. And it is really fascinating to sort of see how he adapts with that. But I do think that you are right, and it is very solid and to the show's point, and that it is not a very instant marked change in how he carries himself. He is very much like learning how to do this. It is not like I have a child now, and I must change everything.
Yeah,
I am going to be the most loving man on the planet. It's like, no, this dude is still awkward as hell, and he is still trying to he's taking it one day at a time.
I mean, there's multiple scenes in which he's like openly drunk around her because he just wants to adjust to his own life, and then and then like having to deal with a child, and then she just like deals with him. And I think it's also to the show's credit that you have this fish out of water story in which Hina is very ignorant to the outside world, but she's competent. Instead of a story when she's like she has to rely on him for everything. She's like she takes care of things herself for the most part, and she understands how to take care of herself, which makes sense. Like, yeah, she was in some facility, but from what we know, like, she has a little bit of a darker past because, like, she's like, oh, you want me to kill those people? And he's like, fuck no, I don't want you to kill those people. But it clearly shows that, like, she's a little bit comfortable with that idea and that concept. So, like, we don't know how she is entirely because, like, she isn't very open about her feelings or her past. But, like, we kind of understand that, like, she has been through some things, and so she's not just going to be this fish out of water going, what? What's this? How do I do that? She's, like, intelligent enough and competent enough to, like, figure it out on her own as she's going.
Yeah, very clearly. And I guess ultimately, I think aside from the genuinely spot-on banter and overall writing for the show and the comedic timing, I feel like it is very much that kind of paralleled character development that we have between Hina and Nita. Yeah. And I think ultimately that is going to be the strongest point that carries the show all the way throughout. Like, I mean, I'm already hooked on this show. It did not take much because this show is clearly more than competent in getting what it wants to do done. So,
yeah, and I'm even trusting it a little bit as far as, like, the skeevy part goes, because, like, there are some scenes in which could have ended horribly. Like, it is awkward that anytime somebody comes out of that egg, they got no clothes. And so like, when we first meet Hina or Anzu and they come out of the egg, it's this underage kid, and that's kind of awkward. But at the same time, to the show's credit, it's like when Hina comes out, the first thing she says is, give me some clothes. It's a very, like, it's a very Terminator moment whenever he's just like, I need your boots, your hat, and your gloves.
Yeah, it's not treated in a voyeuristic sense at all. Like, there is no framing of the scene or anything in that regard that is working with that.
Yeah, and even later, one of Hina's friends that she finds at school, Hitomi, like, ends up going to an adult bar, but it's never. And there's this, like, slightly, he seems creepy older dude that comes in and, like, tells her to, like, order drinks for him, but it's like he never, like, takes advantage of her. It's just we find them 5 minutes later and she's just suddenly learning how to make drinks. And the other main characters come in and they're like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know, there was no one in the restaurant and this guy told me to make drinks. So it's like, it never got weird or creepy. It was just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like a better Alice in Zoroku.
Yes.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I could see that.
Yeah.
But.
And I also, like, compared to Alice in Zoroku, where there was a lot of the older man was in charge, said this, did this, you have to do this. I like in this one, there's a lot of give and take of their relationship between Hina and Nita. because
I feel like there's a lot of confusion.
There's a lot of confusion, but as part of that, there's a lot of I want this, and he's like, well, I want this, and they kind of have to figure it out together. It's never the Yakuza guy being like, no, you have to do this, or like it's not some weird thing in which like Hina just runs the whole show. It's a lot of just them in this relationship together as like this pseudo adopted like child, and then they just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with any of that.
Yeah, so. I like it a lot.
It's good.
Yeah, it's real good. I'm a big fan of it. I was funny. Genuinely not expecting this to be good. But it was.
The funny thing is that's kind of how this whole season's worked for me. Anything I didn't expect to be good ended up being good, and anything I expected to be good ended up not being so good. So.
Oh, rip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn. Like what?
Well, we've already talked about
Comic Girls.
Comic Girls.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be good, but I expected that to be passable.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Okay,
even that.
what did you expect to be good that was trash?
Let's see. What have I watched here? Here's a good example. I might get slaughtered over this one. Wotakoi.
Man, I didn't get around to actually watching that. I'm bummed.
It was actually a show I was actually pretty hyped for, but I watched the first episode and I'm like, to be honest, I could not watch this and be okay.
I like Wotakoi, but I also read the manga before it started, so I knew what to expect out of it. It's not like MMO Junkie. A lot of people were bringing it up as, hey, if you like MMO Junkie, you're gonna love next season, but it's not at all the same story. It wasn't
anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that was unfair. Of like even Crunchyroll was advertising it like that.
Yeah,
and it's such a shame because like that's not what this show is at all. This show is just supposed to be your pure slice of life, but it's supposed to be a slice of life about older individuals just going through their day to day that are just nerds. Like, that's all it's supposed to be.
Yeah. I kind of got more of a feeling of it was more of a, like, one of those slice of life working comedies, romance things, more so than it was like a romance or a MMO Junkie sort of drama thing.
Yeah. It's never. What I like about it is that as far as the romance goes, it's never this, like, big thing that like it's like, yes, it is present and there's a lot of things that they go over, but it's more of it's just these two people that are together and they've decided to be together. It never goes like crazy about it. There's what I like about it is that it's very like normal in the way that it portrays its romance, and that it's like it's not this huge like working towards that, asking each other out and kissing, and it's just two adults that are just being adults, and we're together now, and this will be cool. As it goes on, you get more of like they go on dates and different things like that. At least as far as the manga goes. Spoilers. But it's also just them being nerds together and appreciating that they're both nerds and that they can connect in that way in their relationship. But yeah, like it's just supposed to be a comfortable show about adults being adults within their workforce, but also like being into like nerdy things as well. I very much like it as a romance for that, but I also like it because the way that it approaches things within the romance, like whenever they go on their first date, like they have to learn like what each other like, and it's a very natural and normal thing instead of like going crazy about it or like doing some weird ass shit. It was just like they communicate. I guess is the big thing. Is like throughout the show they may have a misunderstanding or two, but they communicate about it and it's resolved, and they work through their relationship that way.
I think the core fundamental difference between and this is just a personal thing. I think the difference between my perception of what I want in a series and what you want in a series is very different. I think you like yours to be realistic, and I like mine to be more fantasized.
That is not an unfair assumption.
Because, to be honest, realistic is boring to me, so I don't want
fair.
that because I can go in real life and be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's my view on it anyway. So
but for this, it's just supposed to be this low-key romance in which two people like actively communicate with each other and enjoy being nerds together as adults. And it's nice. It's not supposed to be this big thing. It's just supposed to be simple slice of life with some added romance that's just nice and realistic.
That's cool. I mean, I get that. I get the appeal. I didn't. It's not for me.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks, my man.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just found it kind of boring.
Yeah.
So.
If you want a slice of life that has little cute little touches of romance in it, I definitely recommend this one. I also enjoy the comedy because I think that the main character, what's her name, Narumi Momose. She I like her as a character because she's not like super pretty, and she's not like straight like BL loving crazy. She's just this like relatively well-rounded character, and her reactions to things are always very funny. So I enjoy her, and I enjoy Hirataki Nofuji as her love interest because he's just a very accepting and chill dude. So I like them as characters.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. I don't know. I just felt disinterested, I guess, all
totally
around.
Fair.
And that's fine.
Totally fair.
Like, and that's just how these things go, man.
Yeah.
Not everyone is particularly into those.
Just kind of disappointing. I thought I was going to like it. So, I'm a little bummed about that. But
you can always go back and watch MMO.
Yeah, I could. You know?
It'll be okay,
I haven't finished that.
It.
I got about halfway through and stopped, so.
God.
You're breaking my heart.
Alright. So, let's see here. Anything else?
No.
I mean, there's this particular subject? I was like, there's plenty of shows.
I mean, there's a lot of shows I can talk about. I don't know where to go from here, so.
I've got 2 shorts that I was watching.
Oh,
so
yeah. I've been meaning to sit down and watch a few shorts.
I hope they're both garbage.
Oh, okay.
No. One is, one isn't.
Okay. I'm satisfied
now. So the one that I'm liking so far is Space Battleship Tiramisu.
What is that?
Space Battleship Tiramisu.
It is very much a it's kind of like a space opera parody sort of thing.
Oh, I see it.
It's very dumb. It's a very well animated show. It's just stupid.
It looks dumb.
Well, so
I mean, Matt, just from the art, it looks
so
silly.
Mean.
It looks silly. Like there's a freaking like rat or a bunny or something. I can't tell what that is.
So Matt, I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis of like the first sketch in it.
Okay.
Our boy Subaru here, Subaru Ichinose is getting into his thing to pilot his mech, and he is just trying to eat a quick snack before it starts.
Okay.
I don't remember what the snack is, but it's something deep fried with like panko and cabbage in it and such.
Okay.
And so he goes to take a bite or something, and like everything just goes wrong. Like he doesn't get a bite right, and like the G-force, the launch of his ship sets off too quick, and his food just goes everywhere.
Oh,
and so he can't pilot his mech in a mess. And so he's freaking out because his food is a mess and his cockpit is a mess and he can't do anything about it. And he's just losing his mind over it.
That's me on a bad day.
That sounds wonderful.
And there's just so much fried panko floating around in 0G. And it's like, it's getting in his way and it's getting his console greasy. And he's just real upset about it, and he just takes it all out on the opposing forces. It's a real dumb show.
Okay.
it takes a very serious premise, like the kind of traditional
funny
stuff. It's worth at least giving a watch.
I actually don't know if I have ever seen like a parody or like comedy mech show. I haven't seen that many mech shows.
Yeah.
But like
I certainly haven't seen anything up this alley.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in it. It's fun. It's short. It's not like it's taking a lot of my time to watch it.
That's true.
So
3 minutes.
No, it's actually about like 7-ish.
Ooh, okay. Still though.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's a little
bad,
chunkier.
too. Still not too bad.
7 minutes is 7 minutes is a good number.
I've watched worse 7-minute shows, so
for sure. But or like I think it's 2 7-minute segments.
Oh, okay. Well, still, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's fun. It's goofy.
It sounds silly. I could enjoy that.
It's very silly. The other one that I watched has been Isekai Izakaya.
That sounds dumb too.
Okay, so it is essentially like this season's Isekai Shokudo. Now, to be fair, it is an adaptation of a manga, Isekai Izakaya Nobu, which started publishing in like 2014.
I didn't realize that was out this season. I was actually looking forward to this because I'm reading the manga.
Yeah, and Isekai Shokudo started after this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's garbage.
Oh, nice.
No.
Oh, it's real fucking weird. No, okay, it's not garbage, but it's just... Man, it's weird. So to be entirely fair, I don't believe that this is any part of the source material. I don't think it's any fault of that.
I could tell you.
Because here's the thing. As far as I'm aware, this is a net animation that is, it's being done by Studio Kadokawa. It's being produced by Kadokawa. It is being put out by Sunrise.
Okay. Sunrise is a huge studio.
It is. And also, I believe that this is being partially funded by the Japanese government as a tourism thing.
Oh, no. Okay. Those never go well.
I could
or rarely.
Now, imagine, if you will.
Oh, no.
Have either of you ever seen like bits and pieces from like a Japanese variety show or something?
Bits and pieces.
Yeah, bits and pieces.
Where like they will put the text that people are saying up on the screen or something like that. Or they will like do weird sound effects on screen as well. Or so that's a big thing.
Okay.
It very much
not a deal breaker, but okay.
Also, the show's title and logo is always present in the top left-hand corner of the screen.
Why?
Okay, still not a deal breaker.
I don't know. That's kind of a deal breaker for me.
The episode's title and subtitle is always present in the upper left-hand of the screen.
Okay.
The translated subtitle for the episode is present for about 2/3 of the episode in the top center of the screen.
Okay.
So there's just like text all over the fucking screen.
It is a typographical nightmare.
Oh my god.
It is bad to watch. And it's not... It already seems like it has a very low budget.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not a great looking show either.
That's so sad. I actually genuinely enjoy this manga because this manga has something that Isekai Shokudo did not. And it has continuous continuity.
Yes, and see, that's the thing.
Continuous continuity?
Yes, that is redundant, and I apologize.
It is following, like, one main character that brings in other folks.
Well, that's not how the manga goes.
Oh, no?
No. The manga is just the shop, and then people come into the shop, and it's like you have your first couple of soldiers that go into the shop, and then they spread the word around town, but then people are just trickling in on their own, and it doesn't have much to do with the soldier at that point. He's just is a recurring character. Basically, as word gets around about this new shop that opens up in this town, everybody in the town just starts frequenting the shop, and they become recurring characters.
Oh, okay.
And then the way that it works, unlike Isekai Shokudo, where it's just a randomly generating door, they're a fixed position in one town.
Correct. Yeah.
And it becomes this big thing where like they become a part of the culture of the town, and then like a bunch of stuff happens, and like they actually like basically act as a dual citizen between their world and this world, in that like they like going home and like in their beds in Tokyo, but they love spending time in this culture, in this world that they've suddenly found themselves in.
Sure. Okay. So, and I like that. That's not what is really being presented much in the series so far.
That's so disappointing.
It's just, I don't know. Part of me wonders if I was spoiled by Isekai Shokudo in a way, but also I don't believe I'm incorrect in thinking that it is a bit of a shoddy presentation.
I'll have to watch
like,
it to let
seems
you know.
like it could be. It seems like it could be genuinely interesting, but the pacing and everything feels so bland in how it gets this across, and the presentation of the food, which is supposed to be like just so genuinely interesting and joyous and like the focus of this show, it falls flat consistently. Like I'm not seeing this food and being like, yeah, you know what, I see this and I want to dig right into that. Like it just doesn't do its job of selling what it is trying to get across.
Do you think it's because the art isn't necessarily accentuating it like they did in Isekai Shokudo?
It's not even about the art itself. It's about, I mean, part of it is, I'm sure, the actual visual presentation of it, but part of it also boils down to, you know, the way the characters interact with it and how it is presented. Like just the weird sound effects and such. It just strikes an odd tone overall.
Is it like a commercial and not like a show? Or
in a lot of ways, yeah, because I mean, like they'll take a sip of beer or something and it'll do this like weird like fizz.
That's strange.
Across the screen, or they'll like be eating some edamame and it'll do like a little like popping sound effect or some stuff. Every time they pop, it's just like
that doesn't happen at all in the manga. Like, not even, like, them writing in the little sound effects of shit. That's not there.
And that's what I'm saying. This is very much, from what I can gather, a problem in how this has been, like, directed and was supposed to be presented, because
I just want to point out...
And it's so odd. Yes.
You know, all this description is making me think of just, like, this really corny food advertisement commercial where there's just a guy eating the food and it makes like a weird sound effect and then he eats it and then he's like got a thumbs up while he's holding the food and there's a big pop-up sound effect that's like delish. Like, that's what I'm imagining right now.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's not far
it's
off.
Making me cringe. It's bad.
Well, and so the even weirder part about this,
it gets worse.
Oh no.
The show runs for 14 minutes.
What?
The anime runs for 10.
Okay.
The last 4 minutes
is
a live action section.
Oh no. My worst fear has been realized.
That can be okay.
No. Listen. It's different for each episode because the first episode was a cooking segment.
Okay.
With some dude cooking what they made in the first episode.
Okay, I kind of buy that.
Yeah, like that was all right, but again, it was very much like straight out of like a, you know,
with the same sound effects and everything.
Kind of reminds you of like a Good Morning show over here.
Yes, that essentially that's what it is, because there's like a narrator over talking to it and some like very happy to be there kind of guy. Second episode, it was following some dude around, and he was, I don't remember, I think it was in Tokyo, and he was just going around. It's like, hey, we're gonna go find some bars that have the food that they had in this episode, and it was just some older dude going around and finding a bar and drinking beer and eating something, and it again looked really uninteresting.
See, depending on how you do that, I could enjoy that, and I feel like I would also enjoy it more if it was like they took like the original mangaka and was just like, let's fucking go to a bar, like, and just talk about the story and talk about why you like the food.
We could have like a Lucky Star situation there.
Yeah, or like. Because, like, I was thinking whenever you said there was a live-action segment at the end, the first thing I thought of actually was, like, Jackie Chan Adventures. How they would then, like, at the end of the episode, talk to Jackie Chan, and he would give you, like, some neat little tip about life or some shit like that.
Yeah, and so, like, just the thing about it is it seems to be just Japanese celebrities or something like that.
It's just kind of random.
Which, again, feeds into, like, it's funded by the Japanese government. I believe it is, like, a tourism thing.
Okay.
It seems like they're desperately trying to push the tourism part instead of the actual original source material part. Like, did they not look at, like, Sanrio Boys or even Isekai Shokudo that came out not even that long before this and think, wow, that was massively successful. Maybe we should just do that.
I mean, you'd think, but I don't know. Like, I understand that anime, you know, I mean, this is a short, though, and it doesn't sound like a...
Mm-hmm. I'll have to see it, but, like, that's just so... Because I when I heard that this was coming out, and I read about it, I was like, oh, that's like Isekai Shokudo. I really want to see that, because I really liked Isekai Shokudo. So I read the manga, and I was like, wow, this is a lot like Isekai Shokudo. This is genuinely enjoyable. Love the characters, love the setting. And then, now you're making me sad.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I definitely want to read more into specifically notes and ideas behind its production and how it's put together, because I would want to be a little more, like, 100% specifically, like, what the initiative is for doing this, the specific reasons for it.
Yeah.
But, again, from what I've gathered, it is very much a sponsored kind of thing.
The sad thing is I doubt you'll find much information on it. Because it's such an unpopular show, and not to mention, like, it's kind of sad that I guess it's a tourism-ish thing, if I guess that's true. I guess you researched that, and I guess it is true to some extent. If that's the case, then I guess that doesn't invalidate the show, but it does make it kind of like, ugh. Like, I guess if you want to do that with the source material, I guess that's okay, but...
Yeah. Like, I think it was Frog-kun actually wrote a piece specifically about the show and about, yeah. It's on his blog. Isekai Izakaya is a cool Japan propaganda. Yeah, it's very much a kind of sponsored thing. So, yeah, he's got a cool piece on that if you want to read more up on it.
Okay.
But, yeah. But anyways, I don't know. It's a real bummer because it seems like it could have been cool. And again, Kyle, judging from what you've said about the source material, this definitely does feel like it has been taken in a very specific direction that was not something extant.
You liked Isekai Shokudo, like, probably more than I did. And I would probably say would probably... It's not the same thing, but I think that you would probably like the source material for this if you want to, like, give the manga a go.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a disappointing.
Now I'm all bummed out.
Okay.
I guess I can at least swing in and say something that has not been majorly disappointing yet has been Persona 5 the animation.
Really?
I'm not going to talk super at length about it.
I haven't played the game. Don't spoil.
That's the thing. I wanted to watch it so badly. But
I know it's not going to be any nearly good as the game, and
yeah, like
I need like 150 hours to sync, so I don't have that.
I've watched an episode or two of it,
maybe this weekend.
I mean, the voice acting is spot on. as far as I can tell, it seems like they've got the main VA cast from the game itself.
Well, that's good.
Which is really nice.
Good
start. Or it
start.
seems that way anyways. I haven't, like, cross-checked that yet, but, you know, it's all pretty on point. The animation isn't terrible. Like, it's definitely a noted upped production value from, like, Persona 4's animation, which is very, very nice.
I mean, heck, if you're going to put animation in the title, might as well animate it.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, but...
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen multiple projects that were like, the animation, and it's like fucking watching PowerPoint.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah,
sadly.
I mean, it's not bad so far. It is doing a better job than I thought it would, but also this thing is going to be 24 episodes to adapt essentially a game that requires a minimum of like 90 hours on average to get through it.
Yeah, you're talking about taking...
And you're condensing that into
like 10-ish.
Maybe about...
Yeah.
Isn't that the way with all game adaptations, though?
I mean...
Yes and
it
no.
depends here and there,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, the Persona games are...
I know, they're relatively lengthy, but I mean,
being
like, look at visual
time-sized.
novels. I know that's not a good example, because most visual novel adaptations are bad, but...
well, most video game anime adaptations are bad.
Yeah, and you think that has something to do with the time? Or...
See, I don't know. It's just...
It's weird. Yeah.
I just don't think in these particular senses, I feel as though a lot of it has to do with it is essentially working as a marketing product to push what it is an adaptation of. And I think in that particular respect, it likely does not get the kind of production crew that a more high-profile show might get.
Yeah, not unless like
And
the
I think that's a lot of
company
the
itself
issue.
would work on it or something like that.
Yeah, and
Right.
maybe that's part of the problem, too. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
like a tertiary product, you know?
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. So there's a lot of different things that go into why these things may or may not be good. But anyway, so far, from what I've seen, it's better than I thought it would be. I'll stick around with it because, you know, I played the game and I enjoyed it. But yeah, if you are at all looking to play the game at some point, just pan this as hard as you possibly can. Just don't...
Just wait until
You would
after you beat the game kind of thing.
Yeah, because, again, just from the time frame that they're working with, there is a lot that is condensed into, you know, the time frame that they have.
Yeah,
And I feel as though the story that Persona 5 has to tell is very, very worth the great deal of time and attention that is required for it. So
Yeah, I mean, even talking about games that like aren't RPGs, like you could look at anything like the latest Tomb Raider or Uncharted, which seems like it would be a very like direct to movie easy transition, but like even those, the whole story takes place over the course of like 10 to 12 hours, sometimes 20, and like condensing that into like 2 hours or even like one season, which is like 6, still you miss a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So
It's tough.
yeah.
yeah, it's not terrible so far. So
Well, I mean,
I'm
that's
pleasantly
good.
surprised.
That's actually better than what I expected, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
What else we got, boys?
All right, what's next? What's next on the listo?
Well, since we're going over shorts, there were a couple that caught my eye, but I didn't actually get a chance to watch yet. There was one, I don't know if you guys even cared about it, but the SNS police.
What?
What?
Okay, obviously it didn't. The original source material was a manga story that centers around the titular SNS police, or social network service police, that go across Twitter, Facebook, and many different social media and police people who violate the law there. And it's like, it just looked like goofy fun. It looked dumb, and I kind of wanted to watch it.
So is that why everyone's getting shadow banned on Twitter?
Yes.
Yes, the shadow bans are because of this.
I knew
Like,
it.
All it.
I'm not gonna
You
lie.
cracked the case.
this does not look like a great show. Like, even the animation looks fucking atrocious, but I was like, oh, come on, with like a fucking thing like that. Like, if nothing else, it would be like perfect meme material. And I was like, come on.
That seems interesting.
You got some meme material there for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's and then outside of that, I'm still waiting on one of my favorite Yuri shows ever, Asago Tokase-san. It's gonna be like at the end of this season is when that comes out, and I'm annoyed.
It's one episode, X amount of minutes. I don't know how long
it's going to be a full 24 minutes, and it's going to go over, I think, like the first few chapters of it or something like that, which are their own self-contained story. Because originally it was a short story kind of format. It was only picked up for like maybe like 3 or 4 chapters, and then it became so popular they gave the artist license to adapt it into a full series. So it's just going to take the original story and adapt it.
Okay,
but it's really good. I'm super excited for that. There's actually a couple of things this season that like, because this like you look at this and it's like coming out in 41 days, and then you look at like Fully Cooley and you're like, sweet fuck, coming out in like 50. Like there's kind of an odd delay on a few shows this season.
Well, I mean, like Fully Cooley is supposed to.
It's like I guess they classify that as an OVA sort of thing. So it's
like a limited run because that's coming out in July, I think.
Yeah.
No.
34 days
June.
from
It's
now.
coming out in June. And then the other one is coming out like just dropped in December, I think.
And are they dropping all the episodes at the same time, like Netflix style?
I have no idea.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I think it's a one at a time thing because I know a lot of it is partnered through like Toonami.
Okay. Well, at least over
here. Correct. Yeah.
Who knows?
But it seems as though they're going to be releasing it, a staggered release like usual.
Okay.
But again, I'm talking out of my ass. So
I am excited. I'm pretty excited for Fully Cooley coming back. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to continue that series.
Yeah.
Okay. Short wise, that's all I really want to go over.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't have any interesting shorts. I don't really care for them.
I will say there's a movie that I know I personally will be the only one of us three that is probably going to watch.
Digimon Adventures Try 6?
No, because I'm still upset about them spoiling the third movie for me, so I haven't gone back to watching it.
Oh, dang.
Oh man, you're
I'm missing out.
You're super here for Ninja Batman, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm super fucking stoked for Ninja Batman.
Yeah, I'll watch the hell out of that.
It looks amazing. Like, it legit looks incredible. I'm so stoked for this.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, just that it looks cool.
Maybe someday I'll get to watch Liz and the Bluebird.
Loosen the Bluebird?
Liz and the Bluebird. It's the KyoAni film that's right next to Ninja Batman on any chart.
He was making a joke.
Sorry. Although, is there no confirmation about when that might be licensed?
Over here, I have no idea. It's not even out until April. Oh, it's already passed. Wow, I don't know what day it is.
Awkward.
Yeah. I think it's being released in theaters in Japan in a couple months, weeks.
Okay.
And it's just a spin-off of Hibiki Euphonium?
Yeah.
Okay. How long is it?
I have no idea.
Okay. I am interested in it because I do enjoy Hibiki Euphonium, but it is odd, like, with how big KyoAni has become, especially after Violet Evergarden, that like they wouldn't license something from KyoAni.
Yeah. I think a silent voice kind of helped with that a little bit. Break their film bubble thing.
Well, they've made films before, haven't they?
Not
to the serious like popularity.
Yeah, I mean, they made like Free movies and Kyoko no Kanata movies and there's probably some others, but nothing.
Oh,
like
and Tomoko
big.
Love Story.
Yeah, that's
a good
big
movie.
one too.
Like,
it was a pretty good.
I love
movie.
how the show was like, meh, it's your slice of life, and then the movie was like, hot fucking shit, this is good. It's kind of amazing. Okay, cool. I just wanted to mention a couple of movies because that would be. I knew that wouldn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Are there any other shows that have stood out to y'all so far in particular?
There's the elephant in the room that we brought up earlier and we all got excited for.
Which one?
Yeah, I mean, like, we could talk about Megalo Box at some point, but, like, is there anything else that we want to talk about before?
I haven't seen Megalo Box.
How dare you?
Man, it's okay.
No,
like,
that's totally okay. It doesn't really seem like your type of show.
No, I tried to watch a couple minutes of it, and I was like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I think
pretty lukewarm going into it, and I'm just like...
Okay, for you specifically, you would need that full first episode.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to be, like, in the mood to watch it.
Yeah, because, again, given your particular proclivities for how you watch shows and how you particularly enjoy them and what you enjoy out of shows, it's going to require the full narrative arc of that first episode for you to really get invested in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very, very worth it.
It looked cool.
I guess
I will say,
just go ahead and do this.
Yeah, we're on the subject already. I've already actually wrote an article about the show.
Oh, damn it, you beat me to it.
Yeah. Like, legitimately, it's a thing. I actually forgot to release that. I'll release that now. It's a thing where I know everything that's going to happen in this show because I've seen this a million times. Like, the original Joe, and then you have what was that one boxing anime that the dude looks like Little Mac?
Hajime no
Ippo?
Yeah, Hajime no Ippo. It's very similar in like style and idea. Obviously a different story. And then even fucking Rocky. It's just the underdog boxing tale. Like, it's the traditional underdog boxer that like gets the shit beat out of him, and then they go and like they fulfill their dream through their own hard work. And like, I can tell everything that's gonna happen. Like, the dude's not going anywhere, and obviously they've already set up this other character as this like bigwig, and then, you know, he accidentally bumps into them, and all of a sudden that just like starts his whole thing, and then like he gets into some fights and he loses them and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I know everything that's gonna happen. Doesn't matter if I'm just enjoying the ride. Like, I don't care that I know the plot beats for this because it's so stylized and funky and unto itself that I'm like, I don't care. I'm having fun. I'm just having fun.
The thing about Megalo Box is that, it is very much a show that I look at and think, yeah, I pretty much have a decent idea of how this is going to go. You know, Joe is this scrappy little boxer that's been working with Nanbu as a throw man, you know, would just throw boxing matches for money, make it look convincing. And, you know, he really has talent, and so it's going to go with him developing his talent and working his way up the ladder to get another shot at Yuri, who knocked him on his ass and really inspired him to, you know, bump up what he can do.
Who very much looks like the Russian from Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So, like, that's
that would be great because they haven't.
Looks more like Victor than anything.
They haven't explained how Megalo Box works yet, and I'm actually kind of interested if they're just gonna have it like all of a sudden the ring just freezes over and they're on skates boxing.
Yeah.
Dang.
But no, like, I mean, it seems like a show that you can easily predict the plot and how each episode is going to go.
Don't matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be reinventing the wheel with this, especially since this is like a 50th anniversary reboot for
right. It's a celebration of what made the series great, which means they're most likely going to lean into that original story pretty hard, and that's totally fine.
Yeah,
it's totally okay. I think it is just cool to kind of work with it in the way that it has this, you know, just some young immigrant kid that gets a shot at citizenship and working his way into this kind of upper echelons of society and working to fulfill his dream where he might not have had that opportunity otherwise.
Yeah.
And it's just it is very much, it's highly stylized. It has a soundtrack that is very much reminiscent of like Bebop or Samurai Champloo or Space Dandy to me in these senses.
It's like
and
if
that
you
is
mixed
very
all
much
of those
its
together.
own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
so
cool.
I am so here for it. But
I am down for those things.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. Matt, you were talking about you haven't really heard folks talk about it much.
Not like a lot. I've heard on and off things. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
oh, it's good. Watch it. Like,
yeah, I say all this, and I'm kind of left here sitting. Oh yeah, what do I really say? Because ultimately, yeah, I don't have anything terribly particular to say, aside from it is what it is. It is very much just a boxing sports anime. It does have these familiar story beats to it, but the way in which it actually executes these things and the way in which it presents them is done in a very solid, consistent manner. It is competent. It clearly has the budget to back it up. It does everything it can to give off a very strong tone, a very specific mood to it, an incredible atmosphere to the characters, the story, the plot, the location. And like so that's the thing. It exudes confidence and it exudes competence in how it approaches its story.
That's
so
nice.
It's real engaging, real fun to watch, hugely stylistic. Like there is not a beat in this show so far that I have not been interested in it for some particular aspect, whether it's been audio or visual combination, whatever. I'm consistently engaged by it. It does a killer job with it.
A killer jab with it? Okay.
All right, so what's the next show?
All right. Next show. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna talk about one here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That no one else probably watched, but I did because I thought it would be cool, but then I was like, oh, maybe not.
Oh no.
Well, what was it?
I watched Caligula.
God damn it, Matt. I was about to make a joke and say, did you watch Caligula or something?
Wow, that's rude. That's rude. That's rude. I'm offended.
Okay, so let me ask you something.
Okay,
I don't
look,
know
Matt,
this.
Like it is just a labeled sci-fi show. Okay, I was looking through here on what you could have possibly watched, and would find it would be garbage, and that was the most.
I won't say it's garbage. I wouldn't put it in that garbage category. I'd put it in the pretentious bullshit category, which is only garbage adjacent.
Oh, Matt, I see why you started watching this.
No,
because the bad guy's named Muse.
No, that's not the reason why. But let me explain this. So,
I mean, please do.
This is based off a game. The game's apparently really fucking bad. Mostly,
oh, wow.
But only because of the game mechanics being bad, not because the story was bad. I researched that. It was critically banned because the game mechanics were shit. So, Caligula has to do something with the term the Caligula effect, which is this show gets deeply philosophical about psychology, a lot. So,
I mean, it seems like it would.
Yeah. So, the Caligula effect is basically something. It's that phenomenon where you know how someone tells you a show's bad and you want to watch it. It's like the thing to desire taboos or something. Not taboo things, but just things that you shouldn't want to do.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Fighting temptations and stuff. Yeah, that's what that is. I don't really know how that plays into the story, so I don't really know why I explained that. But I don't know. There's this kid. He likes psychology. He spouts a lot of psychology terms, which are apparently at least semi-accurate. I don't know. I don't know anything about psychology. But he does all these things, and to be honest, the kind of setup for the show is a little bit interesting, because these explanations of psychology that he's telling us, it's kind of info dumpy, but the way as he tells this to us, it kind of plays into the story, because he talks about like the subconscious, how we perceive things in the subconscious, or we don't perceive things in the subconscious, but like we still kind of know, like that whole thing where we perceive things, but the subconscious perceives things that we don't realize, and that's kind of what the whole anime is about. Like,
okay,
in the regards that he starts noticing things that he never noticed before, and apparently he noticed that a song he listens to is like corrupted, and someone's screaming for help, and all of his friends are evil, and they all turn into aliens, because that's just something that happens.
This is kind of like the setup to Spy Kids, where all of the people turn into those like weird creatures, and
Kyle,
and they go, Flynn is a madman, help us, save us.
We do not need that right now.
Kyle,
we don't need this right now.
No. Kyle.
Yeah.
I know you're our film guy. I know you're a resident cinema boy.
Nande.
Why, Spy Kids? How did you get here? I know, I see the connection. I'm just wondering what made your synapses fire off in the particular
to say Spy Kids rather than like anything else. I will stand by that Spy Kids is a shit movie, but man, it's fun to watch.
Oh, it is. But it's not anime, so we're not going to discuss it.
Sorry.
I'll have a separate podcast about Spy Kids. Okay.
Yeah, our hidden Spy Kids fan cast that we've been releasing for a year on the deep web.
Oh, yeah. Look that up.
Our Spy Kid boys.
Spy Kid boys. But yeah, so basically Caligula goes from actually kind of interesting for like the first 18 episodes to like action.
18 minutes?
Yeah, it actually lasted a decent while. Like, I was shocked. Okay, I was like,
you said episodes.
Yeah, you said the first 18
and I was like,
episodes.
hot damn, how many episodes did they release already?
No, I have 18 minutes, not 18 episodes. But it lasted about 18 minutes, and then it goes straight into a bunch of like bullshit where like these people transform into these creatures, and then some guy has a gun on his arm, like he's a cyborg. I don't know what's up with that. The idol turns evil that he's listening to, and she's controlled by the student council. I don't know how any of that works. Anyway, the guy's a little edgelord, the main character. And so he finally realizes that all this shit's happening, and he's like, oh my god, and he like freaks the fuck out. And I don't know, it turns into a big action sequence, and he just literally shouts, someone explain what's going on, and the episode ends. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the summary of this show right now. So,
did you get to watch any more of it?
No.
I do remember watching the PV for this, and I was kind of weirded out. Like, I like the art style, but I was weirded out because it's like pseudo 3D in some moments.
In some moments, but like not a lot.
Okay. I just noticed that every now and then, instead of having a 2D thing, they actually have like 2D masked onto like a 3D body.
Yeah.
It looked a little weird. It didn't look bad as much as it was just like
it's a little
kind
off.
of a little off, and I wasn't sure if that was like an artistic choice to like make the audience feel a little unnerved or something.
Yeah, the art style is a little gray in of itself, but
it is I've noticed the colors are
desaturated.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a bad show. I would like to watch more, I guess. Just to know what's going on, but Like, it's not...
Maybe, like, give it a couple more episodes to see if it is good or not.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that I don't know if I'd recommend to anybody, but it was kind of entertaining. It got kind of deep in some instances, and I was like, I could kind of buy into this in some parts of this. So
it sounds very much like a show that I would never want to watch, but at least your description of it has made it so that I would maybe watch an episode or so, just to see it.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I won't herald it as the greatest thing ever or anything, and if no one watches it, it doesn't matter. So. Sure. It was just kind of one of those first episodes where I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Okay, well, if I discarded it right now, I got something out of it, kind of thing. So, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So there you go. There's that.
What else? What else we got, boyos? There's only about 3 other shows I've watched.
Oh,
I haven't watched that many.
What, Matt?
Oh, I just wanted to make a quick comment about one show that I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mahou Shoujo site is bad. Nobody watched that. Let's move on.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, yeah, no shit, yeah. Actually, this might be a good time to say, for the first time ever, there are things on my list that I straight up said I will never watch, ever. That was one of them.
Yeah.
And then there's also that show that's about slavery.
Yeah, that's actually somehow worse than Mahou Shoujo site.
Oh my sweet fucking goodness.
And I mean, Mahou Shoujo site has lines such as, it's cherry poppin' time in it. So,
sweet
my
fuck.
God.
So that's the kind of level we're dealing with there.
I can understand trying to make a darker thing, but there is a very poor and bad way of approaching subject matter, and that's absolutely the worst.
Woo!
Oh, that feels like Killing Bites tier.
That is gross.
Oh no, it was disgusting. Worse. I didn't even watch Killing Bites, but I can tell you right now that was worse.
I bet it was.
Oh my god.
The worst 23 minutes of my life.
So anyway.
Yeah.
How much y'all got left?
I've got a few more that I watched.
Did anybody watch Piano no Mori?
I didn't get to it.
I did not have the opportunity to get that.
Okay.
I wanted to.
I think
I'm planning on it.
I don't know where it's even out on at.
I think it got picked up by Netflix.
It is, as far as I know.
So it's probably not going to come out.
Well, so I guess no one's watching that. Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Which is a shame.
Netflix picked up something else too, didn't they?
Netflix sucks.
Hisone to Maso-tan, man.
That's right. They picked up, which I did watch.
But hey, it's a fucking good show.
I
watched about half of it.
I watched Hisone to Maso-tan.
Okay, hold up.
I genuinely enjoyed it.
Okay, Matt, you watched half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't get around to finishing it.
Oh, okay.
I have it open I have it open right now. I just never finished it.
Oh, okay. You were making me real nervous.
I was scared.
I don't think I've gotten far enough to make a judgment call on it.
That's fair.
So
I will say, it is. I've only seen one episode of it. It is fucking incredible how fast this pace is for this first episode. It feels like I'm going at like 1,000,000 miles a minute as I'm going through this. I don't think it's necessarily bad because I think it was intentional. Because the main character herself is just swept up in all this shit going on.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
All Hisone is just this anxious person that is just, she just wanted some Defense Force job, and then she got put into a Defense Force job, but as an office clerk, and then it's like, hey, you're gonna pilot a dragon now. Cool.
Yeah.
Check this shit out. And so, yeah, it does make sense that in that particular perspective, the pacing would be at a very breakneck speed. Like, what is happening? My life is crumbling around me.
Yeah.
What is going on?
And I do think that it does, because it gets to a point, not to ruin too much, Matt, but it gets to a point in which it does break for her, and she, just flips out. And for good reason. In the moment, you're like, this is absolutely, this is completely understandable. And so I think after that point it does slow down intentionally because it's like, no, I'm going to take this at my own pace now. And I liked how interesting that was, that like we're thrown into this just as much as she is, and so like everything's pace wise is evolving as she sees it. Also, dragons are real cute. They're real cute. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one yet, so.
Yeah. And the art style in and of itself is the initial thing that got me interested in the show.
I love the art style for the characters.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it is a very specific thing unto itself.
It's so different.
I can't really say that I've seen something that models its characters and its world quite the way that this does, and I'm very into it. It's a very detailed but also still very rough kind of way of doing it. Like the characters look a little fuzzy almost.
Yeah. Sometimes,
if that's a apt way to describe that.
I know what you're talking about. I couldn't explain it in any way. Like but I get you because I've seen it, so.
Yeah. I don't know, like
it feels like there's like intentionally rough lines for the characters.
Dark lines.
Dark lines, and they very much look penciled rather than like flat.
Yeah.
And I like it. It makes it very interesting to watch the characters.
But yeah, and I guess overall, it's interesting in a way that like Megalo Box is to me, and that I'm sitting here trying to think about this, and to me I'm like, well, it is a very interesting show. Like the dragon lore is kind of neat. I don't have a ton to say about that. I think overall, honestly, it is shaping up to be a very interesting character drama.
Yes,
I think it has a lot of good potential for that, especially with like, say, I don't know, like Mario Okada working on this. I think that it shows a lot of promise. But again, like, I don't have a lot to say about it. It's good at what it does. I feel like it's pretty competent in how it is approaching and developing its characters at this point in time. I think it's giving us definitely enough interest and plot to work with in such a way that we're definitely getting some interesting progression.
How many episodes have you seen?
I've only seen about 1.5, honestly.
Yeah.
At this point.
And that's the thing, is that like a lot seems like it happens in the first episode, but at the same time it's like not enough for me to like make a good judgment call on the show as a whole.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, but it definitely has promise, I believe.
Yeah.
It has...
I was just going to say, I feel like it has promise as well.
Yeah, it hasn't done anything to, like, mess up any potential expectations. And, I don't know, it seems interesting. So, I'm here for it.
It's kind of sad when I, turn on a show and I get about 12 minutes in and I'm like, wow, this is one of the shows I haven't hated in the first 12 minutes, so that's good.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
feeling a little bit bitter this season.
I'm sorry.
A little bit. Did you get to watch maybe Tada-kun Doesn't...
Oh, now, okay, all right. Now,
oh god,
this is one show that I thought I was not going to like.
Yes.
What's the second part of the sentence?
I ended up liking it a lot.
Yay!
Oh my boy, yes, it's so good.
It's so good. It makes me feel very good on the inside.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a good old Doga Kobo show.
I don't like Doga Kobo shows. That's not a good way to phrase it to me. But
but that's the thing. I say that in that I don't like shows from Doga Kobo. I can't tell you one that they've made that I've liked. Except for like Gekon Shoujo and Nozaki.
Yeah, that'd be the only one.
And I guess Engaged to the Unidentified.
Okay, see, I'm still pretty lukewarm on that. So,
Well, that's the thing. I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. I guess New Game Season 2 for me, I guess, is pretty high up there, but it's still feel kind of lukewarm about that series as a whole. So,
yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like, yeah, you're right. It makes me feel good inside. I think that's a good way to describe it. I feel
very good inside when I watch it. It's just so nice.
It really is, and I think the context that the show sets up for it, you know, again, a foreigner fish out of water kind of situation, you know, is met by, you know, this kind of introverted sort of person. I don't know, it's just like, I didn't expect it to be like, hi, this is our boy Mitsuyoshi Tada, he takes pictures. Meet Teresa Wagner from Luxembourg.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a very silly setup in that particular point for its plot, and that she is there because she saw some dumb Japanese samurai.
Oh, that was amazing!
Samurai. Oh my god, it's so good.
What is your favorite color of the rainbow? Blue. The color of rainbow is rainbow. Rainbow. That was amazing.
Oh God, are you serious?
Oh my god, I fucking died.
It's real goofy, and the entire cast of characters that they've set up,
they're just all so wacky.
Real fun and goofy. I mean, like, in a lot of ways, they are very much just archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
But they are well constructed applications of those archetypes. They don't feel like one-dimensional or cardboard or things of that nature. Like, I'm into these characters so far. They've got their hooks in me. So, in that particular sense, I feel as though it has a very solid setup for some fun hijinks together with this cast, for getting some interesting story out.
Mm-hmm.
And very much so, like, it is set up as a, you know, slice of life comedy kind of thing. There are small hints at, like, some potential drama there. Presumably, like, Teresa might be, you know, some kind of royalty, possibly.
Yeah, I think that was pretty heavily implied.
Yeah, or at least, if not that, the head of a prominent family in her country. So there is a potential for that, but given the tone that the show has set and the way in which it is handled, how it goes about getting this across, I don't think it's going to get too gritty as far as that goes.
Yeah.
And so just,
I mean, I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
I really like the quirkiness of the cast comparative to the laid backness of the main character, where he's just like, oh shit, shit's happening.
Yeah, Tada is very much like playing the straight man in this show, which is very interesting, having him as that kind of vehicle around which these crazy supporting cast members to kind of orbit around. I think it is a good call in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from what I've seen so far, it works well. It doesn't feel overblown or out of balance. I think that there is a very solid evenness to how they go about just, the absolute, like, outlandish nature of the supporting cast.
Yeah, and I did say that they're kind of, like, wacky and quirky, but at the same time, they're also, like, they only have, like, their quirky moments. They're still, like, laid back, like, a lot of the time.
Yeah, they're very grounded characters still.
I don't feel like this is some wacky slice of life romance comedy or, you know, anything like that. I feel like this is just, weird people have met and weird things are happening sometimes.
Exactly. It's a bunch of dorks that are mega dorks sometimes, but
I like it. Fun. It's very relaxing and very comfy for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think the particular, like, focus of photography is an interesting idea. I kind of like that, especially after having seen some of that in Just Because a few seasons back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to see to what extent it is made a central focus.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's a lot of emphasis on it in episode 1 at least. So
yeah, there very much is, and there's a lot of time spent showing how it is something that is used and loved by these characters. Because I mean, Pretty Boy Kaoru was talking to Tada and was talking about, are you going to submit anything for this contest or something?
Yeah, they were talking about that.
And so it's clearly something that is
it'll probably come up later.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, for what we have so far, it seems like a neat little
set piece sort of thing.
Yeah, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm really into it so far. I'm very glad that it has turned into what it has so far, because it seemed like this show that could either completely live up to these expectations of, oh, this looks fun and comfy and whatever, or it could just be really bad. They could have swung way too far into the quirky side of the characters, etc.
Yeah. I don't know how far they're gonna go into it, but I feel like it feels pretty safe right now as a show.
That's the thing. I feel like with a show like this, if you are working with this kind of cast of characters, in the first episode, they are often going to very much exaggerate the large personalities of its cast. And I feel like you're right. It seems very safe in that it has not done that. It has, again, kept them fairly balanced out and pretty grounded, all things considered.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. I will definitely be watching more because I like it a lot. So, and it's one of the few shows that I actually kind of like this season out of the ones I've seen, and I haven't seen very many, so that's a grain of salt. But
I mean, fair.
I got a grain of salt here and a pile of salt over there. That's just how it works.
We'll just call you Lot's wife.
Okay.
You can cut that.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's great. I'll cut that. I'm not gonna cut it, but I'll pretend I'll cut it.
Begging you. Come on. All right, thanks. Fine. Was there any other shows that you actually really liked this season that you've seen so far?
Good question.
Oh man, the fact that you have to think about that bums me out and says a lot. I can assume not.
See, I liked 3D Girl, and I liked what I saw of HisoMaso, and I liked Tada-kun, and I liked like the first half of Caligula.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I kind of didn't like anything else. And
you weren't but Hinamatsuri?
Oh, Hinamatsuri. Yeah, I forgot about Hinamatsuri. I do like Hinamatsuri.
Yeah. Fair enough. I don't know. It's just, I kind of look at everything else that we haven't really talked about, and there's maybe like, the only other thing that I watched and kind of rather enjoyed was Golden Kamui.
Okay. I don't understand what even that is.
All right, so to give you a summing up, it's following this dude, Saichi the Immortal Sugimoto. He was a soldier in the Russo-Japanese War. He survived the war, and he is at this point where he was, I believe, discharged from the army for something, if I recall correctly. I don't entirely remember. So essentially, he's penniless, and he's kind of just looking to make a living here, like panning for gold and such. Okay. But just some dude out in the woods that he knows tells him this whack story about this dude that stole a fortune from a prominent family at the time, and essentially took it, hid it, and I believe created a map of it by tattooing a number of other prisoners that he was with on their skin.
Okay.
So essentially, yeah, the large convoluted plot is the map is only complete if you have all the prisoners, and
it's also kind of morbid, but okay.
It is, because to read it, you would have to skin them and then put, their skin shit together to make this.
You only have to skin like one part of their body, though. Is that really skinning them?
Okay, well, you gotta torso them then.
Oh, it's on, like, you said it's on their body.
Yeah, sorry, it is their upper torso.
Okay.
So chest and back. So
that's significantly harder to do. Okay.
Yep. So basically, our dude's like, well, that's a pretty wild tale. And through a series of events, he finds out, oh, hey, this thing might have some realness to it. This might not just be bullshit. And so he's essentially on a journey to find this thing, and he runs into some young girl called Aserpa, who is like a forest hunter, and so she decides to team up with our boy Sugimoto to find this stuff, because hers is more of a vengeance thing, because one of the she is kind of the family that was or the people that was killed in order to steal that gold. So whatever, it is both a quest for riches and a quest for revenge. It's fun. It's not particularly especially deep or anything in that regard. Don't expect this thing to blow your mind going into it, but it has some decent action set pieces, but also some really weird CG.
Oh, okay.
Which is an issue, because the CG that it uses is for a very large bear that is used for the climax of this first episode that we show, and it's just our boy Sugimoto fighting this big, weird looking CG bear, and it's just kind of
unbearable, huh?
Oh my god, Matt, why do you do this to me?
No, it's not just you, buddy. It's all of us.
Yeah, we're suffering together, bub. But yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. It is a fun show to watch if you're kind of down for that sort of action adventure kind of thing with some neat combat in it. But it's nothing really special in my approximation. I know I've seen a lot of discussion that there have been, for instance, some greatly exaggerated faces that the manga does, just goofy ass crazy faces that the anime has severely toned down. I know some folks were like not happy about that.
Oh.
But I don't know anything about the source material, so like I can't personally say anything with regards to that. But
I thought originally when you started this statement, I thought you were gonna say something along the lines of, it's fun if you're drunk enough to watch.
I mean, like, I guess it could probably be really fun if you were pretty smashed watching it, to be honest.
I don't think I want to be smashed while watching that show, but
nah, it's fine. I don't know if it is necessarily your particular speed.
No, not really. Sounds too much.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I don't know.
I don't know how much I'm going to be keeping up with it, but I'm happy to give it some more time to really pull me in.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it sounds interesting. It doesn't sound like something that sounds a little too much for me. So it's just
yeah, I feel you.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand why I dislike half the things I like half the time until words come out of my mouth and I try to explain it. So
I mean, like, I know the feeling, dude. Sometimes you just don't like what you don't like sometimes, and you like what you like sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I really just wish that the season had more shows that I could keep up with.
That's the thing, like, I think all things considered, I've got maybe one, three.
I mean, I got maybe 5, so, like, which is good. That means backlog season. Heyo.
Yeah, actually, like, I've got 5 shows that I'm looking to really keep up with. There's maybe 1 or 2 others that I still want to give a go, but honestly, there's only about 5 shows that I really see myself sitting down and being like, yes, I want to keep up with this real good. I'm into this.
Yeah. And, I mean, this season is very franchise heavy, so that really puts a damper on a lot of shows.
It super is. Like, there's, either a lot of sequels or adaptations.
Or
a lot of just licensed stuff.
Or, just stuff that's making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Or just stuff that's adjacent to other shows. Or, just a whole bunch of stuff that I'm just like, man, like, I don't even know if I was caught up on some of this stuff I'd want to watch it. Like, another hot take from me, even if, I was caught, and I am caught up on a Manchu, but I'm not watching a Manchu season 2 because the Manchu sucks. It doesn't suck.
Jesus.
It doesn't suck, but man, I fell asleep during that show too many times.
I mean, I couldn't do it myself personally, but
it's so hard. Like, I don't think anyone understands the struggle I have with those sorts of shows. Like, I fall asleep every episode. It's it's a drag.
Yeah, no, I get it. It has to be doing a very specific kind of thing for a show that falls into that particular category of comedy, slice of life sort of stuff to actually keep my interest.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't know.
And then half the stuff I haven't even heard about, like Tokyo Ghoul Re, haven't heard anything about that. I guess people like that though. People like Tokyo Ghoul. And you got stuff like Sword Art Online Alternative,
Mm-hmm.
Like, apparently, which is actually not too bad if you segment it from the actual Sword Art Online franchise.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious about
I'm a little curious. Only a little bit, but I am curious.
Mm-hmm.
Got DxD, sure. Everyone loves that.
More of that.
I'm sure.
I guess I'm kind of curious about Steins Gate Zero.
I am a little bit. I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm curious, but I'm not invested.
I don't understand why all these franchise shows are out and I'm not hearing anything about them. Like, what is up with that? Like, we have Full Metal Panic, which everyone was like, oh my god, it's back, and I haven't heard a damn thing about it. Like, what's up with that?
Haven't heard anything of that.
Steins Gate, same thing. Like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, I've heard barely anything about Lupin.
Yeah, me too. Like,
which also weird. It's fucking Lupin the Third. I figured
everyone would be talking about it.
Lupin nerds would have been crawling out of the woodworks for that shit.
Actually, out of all these shows that we were talking about, you know what I've heard the most about on my Twitter feed? Low Storage Conflated with Cross.
What the fuck?
Like, it's the second season of the spin-off of Lacrosse.
That, alright.
Like, okay. Do you know the, okay, it's pronounced Lacrosse.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the original.
Okay. It is written, it's another one of those Mario Kart shows. But
yeah.
It's very weird. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a mess. It's like, a lot of people say it's Madoka adjacent.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like I remember you talking about it in a seasonal cast like a while back.
Yeah, I talked about it a long time ago. It's a good show. Not a great show, but it is a good show. But you know, it's psychological thriller, that kind of thing, drama.
Yep.
I don't know. I've heard a lot about this season. Because apparently it brings back some of the original cast, so that's probably why. And It was kind of a highly praised show of the time. Not highly praised, I should say. It was praised. So.
Yeah. I guess like I also might have expected to hear more about Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that.
I've heard fucking jack shit about it.
What is with this season? Did everyone just give up? Like, did they see this season and they're like, oh, well, this is shit. Let's just put it on the back burner, I guess.
Man, I don't know. I haven't even heard much about fucking Boku no Hero Academia.
I haven't either.
I mean, like, I'm working through it. I mean, it's if you like it.
I haven't even given it a shot.
So, right, yeah, but I'm saying like if you like Boku no Hero Academia,
oh yeah,
it's just more of it. So,
yep, that is.
It's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, there's some others I'm interested in, like the it's that light novel adaptation. Like this girl gets married into service at a onsen for spiritual creatures, like a weird Spirited Away adjacent kind of thing. Kakuryou no Yarameshi.
I'm looking for it. Oh, that? I don't know.
Yeah. I've heard some interesting things about it.
I have too, but it's not my thing. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm curious.
I heard some good things about Last Period, but it just sounds like a dumb show to me. Like, the title's dumb, so, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I understand it, and I see how folks could be interested in it, but yeah, I'm with you there. It doesn't seem like the kind of show that would really grab my attention in that particular way.
Yeah.
So
that's how I feel about a lot of shows this season.
Yeah, there's just there's a lot of
stuff. There's a lot of variety.
Manga adaptations. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think we should definitely be praising in a lot of ways how much just the sheer amount of shit that is out this season. There's a lot to be said for what you can watch out there, but it's just it's not intersecting with my interests.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what this season is to me. And even the stuff that I thought was going to intersect is not.
Yeah.
Oh, like, that actually does make me think about one show I neglected to talk about, but I actually kind of wanted to. I wanted to talk about Umamusume Pretty Derby.
Oh God! All right, yeah.
Yeah, since this is a show that needs to be discussed.
Yeah, please do, man.
So
fill us in. I know you had some words in your preview post.
Yeah, it's Horse Girls the anime. What could be better than that?
A lot.
Yeah, that was my response too. So it's done by PA Works. So I wanted to give it a shot. I really wanted to hope the show was good. I really wanted to like the show. It's basically racing horses anthropomorphized. I realized I probably pronounced that wrong. Whatever. I don't know. It's just weird. I think oddly enough, I read the AniFem article on this and I was like, no, that kind of sums up how I felt. Like,
yeah, essentially.
It's just kind of this weird concoction of like there's this parallel world that you gotta buy into, but then sometimes they're treated like girls, but sometimes they're treated like horses. And it's kind of like that question marks like appear over my head in a weird like Animal Crossing sort of way. I'm just very confused.
Yeah, there's not a solid degree of consistency in how it actually interacts with this world that is expecting us to go out on a limb and believe.
Yeah, and it's weird. There was a couple of scenes where in the first 5 minutes of the show where like the main girl, which they all have like really weird horse names. So like the main character is called Special Week, like, which is kind of cool. I guess they're kind of all like based on horses, like famous horse race contestants. I think it's
that's about what I've
somewhat accurate, actually. So I'm glad they're getting like the technicalities of the sport correct. Anyway, the main character here, she like gets felt up by this trainer. There's a couple of groping scenes that were very uncomfortable, but then like it created this weird debate because people were like, well, like they do that to actual horses to like test their strength. But then I was wrestling with this issue in my head where I was like,
that does not make it okay. They're clearly younger.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those situations in my head where I'm like, that logic makes sense, but this universe, they're girls, but they're not sometimes, so they're also horses sometimes. So I'm trying to like, my mind is trying to differentiate when they're girls, when they're horses, and I was just very confused about when I was supposed to think of which was which, And
right, because it is clearly not doing a good job.
It's not. There's no distinction.
Distinguish that, and the thing is, like, should there even be a distinction in this sense? Because they've clearly set this up in such a way that they're supposed to be a dual entity. So, like, it's weird to even think that one could separate that.
I know. So it was just like there was just a bunch of things like that. Like that. That's just one instance. That was the major instance, but there's a lot of instances like that where, like, at some point they tell them not to eat too much because they'll get fat, but then, like, I was like, wait a minute, but they're horses, like, shouldn't they be eating a lot? Like, and they're eating, like, normal food, and...
Right, but they gotta be idols, too.
Yeah, and I don't understand that, either. And then there's also another part where they have, like, a weird inspirational quote that's based off horse history, but then they're like... I don't know. Like, it's so confusing because
I don't know.
I just feel so confused when I watch the show. Oh, and of course they did the running with toast gag except with carrots instead. They had to throw that in. So, that's what I thought too. I was like, oh yeah, this is funny. Haha.
Yeah, it's 2018. This is funny.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about a lot of the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the PV for it, and that was enough for me.
I wanted to give it a shot because
I applaud you.
It's got like other things though that people praised it for. Like it's got like apparently the horse was born from 2 moms. So there's like that kind of, people praising it for that, but I don't know. I just felt pretty lukewarm about the series as a whole. And I don't know if I want to keep watching anymore. I realized that the article I put out on the site had nothing to do with any of my impressions on the show, but I think that's also okay because I think it puts the show in a little more interesting light. But I don't know. I just think I don't know. I didn't care for that show either, and I thought I was going to like that one. At least a little bit. Like, Jesus.
I'm a little surprised that you had that much faith in it, but you know what? That's fine. I
read a little bit of, like, the spin-off manga, and it seemed like it was going to be better than that.
Yeah, that's fair. If nothing else, I appreciate your willingness to give shows a chance that should not be given a chance.
I mean, I just want to try, I guess.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. And especially on a season where there seems like a lot of things to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's all I really have, because this season sucks, and it makes me really sad.
I mean, I don't necessarily want to say that, but it is very much...
It is very dry.
Not...
It is a desert out here, guys.
For my particular interests, I just... Yeah, I don't know, man.
And I don't think we're the only ones that feel this way, because the lack of discussion is definitely...
It makes everyone's stances so far pretty apparent.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Like, maybe some things will pick up.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be holding my breath on this one.
Me neither. That sucks, because we actually had a pretty good run for a couple seasons there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you know, all good things must come to an end at some point, unfortunately. But
yeah,
hey, it's how it goes.
Yeah, that's the end of the season. And
it is not the end of the season. This is the beginning of it, Matt.
It's the end of the season for me. It's the end of winter. We're ending winter. It snowed last week. Don't give me that sass.
No, you know what? You're right. It did. And it was bullshit.
It was. Okay. Alright. I guess this podcast is declared over with that statement.
I guess so. With that hearty recommendation of this season, this hopeful ending.
Watch some shows. I hope you find something that likes you, or you like. Or something, maybe if it likes you, that's even better. So... there you go.
I'm sure that if you dig hard enough, you can find something.
Yep. Alright.
Yeah.
That's it. God. That's all I got. Alright. Signing off. Bye, everyone.
Yep. Thanks for sticking around, y'all.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Hope you had fun and stuck with us, though I guess I can't be mad if you didn't. I mean, I didn't even make it through this one. Still, hope you enjoyed it, though. You can find all our podcasts, articles, videos, etc. at thebacklogers.com. Our intro-outro song is The Bear by Shell in the Pit, and we'd love to hear from y'all either on the comments on our site or any feedback you want to leave us on whatever podcast platform you like. iTunes, SoundCloud, or the bulletin board of your local saloon filled with scoundrels and bounty hunters. And as always, we're on Twitter at _Backloggers, so come hang with us. We love to talk with you all, and legit, it's great to have some conversation with people online about this fantastic medium we all love. See you later.